live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Let's get to our who's really right for the day.
Okay.
And I feel like, not literally, I feel like I don't want to say killed because, death and life are in the power of the tongue. I feel like I'm going to get backlash for my take on this, but I really need you guys to listen before you go in on me.
So y'all know this is going down, right? Okay.
I don't expect to be who's really right. So
he's already conceding and we haven't even started. Y'all might hear his argument and like it so much that you do.
I don't believe it.
Oh. Okay. Well, I don't have much to say then. I'm going to just sit back on this. Take my position and be quiet. Yeah.
Nah, so we got to this topic based off of the U.S. women's national soccer team.
Yeah.
Winning the World Cup.
Woo! Congratulations, ladies.
Go ladies.
Yes, awesome.
I was about to say Black Girl Magic, but it's
way more than, it's just girl magic in this one. Just girl magic. It's okay.
What is it? Who Run the World Girls?
That's right.
Yeah. Shout out to Beyonce.
That's right.
But no, so they won, and they won a few days ago, and one of the bigger stories that came out of them winning was that they still receive less than the men's national team.
Compensation.
Less compensation, I'm sorry.
Yes.
They receive less money than the men, even though they generate more money than the men's national team. And to be frank about it, they win more. So this brought up the topic between you and I about who's really right when we talked about equal pay for women in sports. Now, ladies first.
So we went from the soccer,
right?
Because, really, there's no argument there.
No.
There's no argument there when it comes to. I mean, the things you just mentioned are the reasons why women should be being paid, equal or more, in soccer, than the men. But there are other sports that are both gender sports that. This is not true, and this is where the who's really right comes in, because we specifically talked about the WNBA versus the NBA, and so my take on this is, I don't know that the word we should be using is equal pay.
Right.
I think it should be equity.
Right.
Equity pay, and there's a difference between equal and equity, because if you look at perspective, if you look at what the difference in the things you mentioned. Right. Who's bringing in the revenue? Which sport's winning? Which one is winning even in like TV ratings? Anything. Right. It's a whole bunch of different factors that go into.
It's a lot of business that goes.
It is. It's a lot, and so my point in all of this was, I don't think women necessarily have to be paid the same amount as men in a sport like basketball. However, the discrepancy and the disparity is way larger than the difference in the sport itself, those factors that we talked about. Right. So it's not fair to me that a woman who plays professional basketball in the United States has to then spend her entire year playing basketball overseas in order to continue to make enough money to have the lifestyle or even the funds that a professional sports athlete should be afforded or are afforded. I'm not going to say should be, are afforded. So it's just not fair to me watching these women and their bodies being beat up and worn down because they play basketball year round. Men don't even play basketball year round. And here's my thing. I'm going to just say this. Watching NBA, I love the NBA, and I love watching men's basketball. But let me tell you, women, when they play basketball, it's a whole different beast.
Mm-hmm.
They're much more physical. They are. No, they nasty. Listen, let me tell you. No, they nasty.
Nah, I'm not
No,
saying
they.
not.
I mean, I'm just
but you
saying.
said they're much more physical, and I'm like, hold
well,
on.
but it's physical in the sense that when they play, they're much more physical with each other. I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying that the way that women play basketball is much more physical than men, in my opinion. In the way that they like, I'm watching WNBA with I'm like, ooh, because it's like they go at it.
Well, so and hot take, I think that the WNBA players and women players, even in college, are more skilled than men.
For sure.
I think you can look at shooting technique. You look at
they have to be.
I think a lot of male NBA college athletes rely on athleticism, and they lack basic fundamentals.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And you can see that, in a lot of big name players. I won't name any of them, but you can just see that they aren't, that they get by off of their athleticism.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that. That's true. But that doesn't, either way, the point being, there's no reason that a WNBA player should be making what somebody, average individual who just goes to work at a quote-unquote regular job every day gets for their, compensated for their skill set and what they're able to bring to the table. I just don't believe that and I used the example when we were talking about this of your GOAT. Because they put that, somebody put up a post about him just being a great dude. Remember? Yeah. And never been in trouble, being with the same person, blah, blah, all this kind of stuff. And anyway, but they brought up his compensation. They said he started out at $425,000 a week, and now he's like $2.6 million a week for the season. But even if women were at what he was making back then when he first started, they would be okay. They wouldn't have to play all year.
Yeah.
Even at that. Well, but you telling me I make somewhere between what do they do? Maybe something that's $70,000 or $100,000 a year.
Okay, so let me tell you the factors that I feel like go into this. And first, let me say that you took my argument because my whole way of robbing this who's really right was to say that equal pay isn't the word, it's equity.
Yeah.
And we talked, both of us said that when we met up the other day and talked about it. So I don't think that the pay can be equal.
No.
And there are a few reasons why.
Yeah.
Now, this is specifically talking about WNBA, NBA, because the women's national soccer team,
they
need to make more than the men.
That's it.
The men lost to Mexico that way.
They need to make more, but I'm sure about to be based on the factors that you're about to bring up.
Right.
Yes.
That's fine. So we think about the amount of games in the NBA season. They play 82 games. We think about the popularity of the league. We think about the WNBA. They only play throughout the summer.
Correct. So they get, what is that?
They play from
April. Do they start in April?
No, they start late May. They start late May and run throughout the beginning of September, I want to say. Right, so the summer. And what was the other factor? I want to say they make that money in that amount of time. Now, I'm not certain as to how. I've never seen a WNBA summer league. Well, it wouldn't be throughout the summer. It might be like a WNBA winter league.
Yeah.
But the NBA players end up pretty much playing all year round. Even if we're not counting the summer league for the veteran players, these guys go and play in other leagues like the Drew League and the Goodman Games and the Rucker and stuff like that. So they're playing all year round.
Is everybody doing that though?
I would say I would say the majority of them are.
Okay.
I saw Kobe the other day hit a jumper in James Harden's face for the game winner in the Drew League.
Okay.
I want to say it was about a week or two ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
But they all end up playing, consistently. But so I understand the point of that. Like, I guess that's more so for fun, whereas the WNBA players actually have to go and make a living. But when you think about if I'm making $80,000 a year, I'm making it for the entire year. These ladies are making that for 3 months, right? Now, I get it. I think the issue here is that the WNBA, because it's owned by the NBA, they don't want to rival the NBA, right? And this
with
is
the amount of
right.
they just
this is where the business
part. Yeah, I get it.
So the beginning of the WNBA season starts around the time of
the end
of
late
NBA playoffs, and it ends right before the NBA season gets started, and so it's kind of like a handoff. And while they're working in unison, my issue would be, and I the numbers probably are out there somewhere, and I didn't see them. The amount of money that the women have collectively bargained for, opposed to the amount of money that the NBA players have collectively bargained for. And to give you an example of that, let's say that, and this is just hypothetical, let's say that the NBA players bargain for 55% of the total revenue of the league, and the owners got 45%, right? And this is where I feel equity comes into play. If the WNBA players didn't get that same deal, then that's where the issue is.
Yeah, because they should.
Right.
They should. Absolutely.
Now, if it's a thing where the WNBA players are getting 25% of the pot, and the owners are getting 75%, that's where I take issue.
Well, it has to be something like that. I have numbers here.
Okay.
They said the average WNBA player is making $111,500.
Okay. More than okay.
But the minimum salary for an NBA player is $525,000.
Okay.
They said Maya Moore, Skylar Diggins, Diana Taurasi, and Candace Parker. These are the faces of the WNBA.
Right.
These are the women who are superstars in the WNBA.
Right.
If you put all of them together collectively, they make less money than the least known NBA player. That makes me think that just what you just said is exactly what's happening, because there is no way.
Right.
These are the top players in the WNBA.
Right.
4 women collectively
are making
less money than somebody that just sits the bench that nobody knows about in the NBA. So what you say about this collective bargaining agreement
is the issue.
Is probably where the issue lies if we really looked into it.
Well, maybe not, right? And I'm gonna tell you where on that point I kind of disagree, right? So I'm almost certain that those 4 women are making more per endorsements than that guy that's at the edge of the bench.
We're not talking about that, though.
No. What we talking about, I think, using their popularity to go with the popularity of the league is a different thing.
That ain't fair.
No, no, it is. I think it's fair because the worst player on an NBA team is living off the popularity of the league. Now, if the league isn't bringing in enough eyes, right? And let's say that it's equal, the what's been collectively bargained for.
Okay.
And those are still the numbers. Then these ladies are able to go and get endorsements based off of their own likeness. The NBA players are just living off of the popularity of the league, even though they're the last person at the bench. And that's the reason why they probably have no shot at making an endorsement.
So I get punished for being popular as a female because I can go out and find my own way to make money. Versus, because all I'm talking about is what I'm owed by the people who pay me to do a job. which is to play basketball.
Right. Well, so in the scenario that I gave, if there's equity in what's been collectively bargained for, and these are the numbers, it's not based off of just your popularity.
No.
If
the
amount of money that's coming in from the league is what it is, and your salary is based off of what's been collectively bargained for, and that still ends up being less than,
then I have to go with that.
The amount of money that the NBA is bringing in, then you have to go with that. But you have the benefit of, I am popular myself. I overshadow the league. Now, the NBA and the NFL differ in this because nothing's bigger than the shield in the NFL.
Right.
In the NBA, they promote their players.
Right.
They don't promote the league as being the end-all, be-all.
Correct.
And so these guys can go out and make crazy endorsements. You remember we were talking about Shaq last
That's
week.
the first person I thought about. He ain't spent a check.
He ain't spent a check.
Yeah.
Ain't spent one game check.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about his Q score and how he's still marketable. He's still out here selling gold bonds.
Right.
You know,
and general insurance. Yep.
And I think that's where the fairness comes in, because if I can go and create revenue off my likeness because I am bigger than this league, but I have to be under the construct the construct of what this league is.
It is, yeah.
Then, you know, it may be looked at as not fair from the standpoint of trying to, you know, see if it's equal. But in business, if both of them are collectively bargaining for the same thing, then
no, that's equity.
That's what the equity.
But that's what equity means. That what you just said about the collective bargaining agreement. If both leagues have the same exact mirror image collective bargaining agreement, and this is what it is, then that's equity. That's different than I still like their endorsements don't play a factor in that part to me, because what about the chick that's on the bench? They'll probably make $40,000.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How fair? Now she make $40,000 for not being nobody. He make $525,000.
Right.
For being nobody.
Well,
there's when the gap starts. You be like, wait a minute now.
Well, and that's so removing the whole collectively bargain, it being equity in that. Now that's where the issue comes in, right? Now, like I said in the scenario before, like if it's 55-45 for the men and it's 25-75 for the women,
problem.
That there is my problem.
Yeah,
that's not equity. That's not equity.
No.
That's not fairness.
Nope.
And what I was about to say is womanizing, but
I don't know if that's quite what it is.
I gotta come up with a better word.
I don't know if it's womanizing, Jesus, but
it's what's the word?
I don't know. Like, it's not womanizing.
Nah,
okay?
Womanizer wasn't the word. I messed that up. But it's
gender inequality.
Gender inequality. I was looking for it. I just couldn't.
It's gender inequality.
Gender inequality.
Yes.
And so, like, I'm not cool with that.
No.
At all. You know
that makes no sense to me. And I would love to see numbers.
Right.
I would love to see numbers. I get it. And here's my other problem. If the collective bargaining agreement, again, if we go back to it, and on both sides, it's equal, then my next problem is the amount of revenue, the amount of effort that is put into actually promoting the WNBA. Looks nothing like it does for the NBA.
Right.
You know, they're not on television like they are. They're, just don't put the same amount of effort. If you really want to get people out and you really want to see that revenue increase, seems like you would put more effort.
Right. Well, you would.
You put a little. Right. That's what I'm saying. You put just enough to say, but see, we doing something. We doing something. Look, they on TV tomorrow night, or at 10 o'clock at night on Tuesday when nobody's watching.
Well, I don't suspect that. I don't suspect that anybody who owns a WNBA team, I'm almost certain that they want the WNBA to be the biggest thing in the world, because it only serves to make them more money.
Yeah, but how many of them is that?
You mean how many
teams? I'm just saying, it's not like, I don't know. I just don't see the effort being put into it, or the money, or the investment being put into it to make it what it could be.
So I would put it on the level with like Major League Soccer,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't see a lot of those games.
No, but soccer is so popular on
Across
its
the
own,
world.
a world sport. So that's why.
Not in the America.
What?
You don't see a lot of soccer games being broadcast.
It don't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't get national. I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't get that national spotlight like that. It doesn't.
And so that's what I compare it to. I'm sure that they want MLS to be the biggest thing in the world. Like, because why else invest in it?
But they have sold out games.
Who
People don't watch on TV. They don't have to because they go to the games.
In MLS?
Yes.
Do they sell
Yes.
out?
Listen,
okay.
Yes.
Not all of them. Now, the Atlanta United, I can say, I don't know where this fan base came from because y'all just got the team. But y'all just won the MLS Cup, and the city of Atlanta has been fully supportive of the Atlanta United.
Yeah.
But when you look at teams like the New York Red Bulls who can't fill up the Meadowlands, or it was the Seattle Sounders, like, you know, teams like that, like, you don't see a lot of people even if you see a game, you don't see a lot of people sitting in the stands at those games. And so I think they have their flagship, you know, cities that have, you know,
teams or whatever.
But overall, like, the league doesn't get the type of promotion that the NFL does or the NBA does. And so I think that they try to push to make the league bigger than what it is, but it's one of those things where it's like, how much do you invest without seeing a return?
Okay, I get it. I get it.
When the WNBA first came out, listen, I was a Houston Comets fan. Now, you know I love everything DC, but, I mean, Houston Comets. But Cheryl Swoops.
They were on the other day talking. Cheryl,
were they?
Yes.
I had to see
Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoops. Yes, they were both on talking the other day. I loved it. It was awesome. I was watching the game.
Tina Thompson, you know, we talked about her on to the Real Story a couple of weeks ago, but I love that team, and I loved watching them play. Like, and I even, like, I was hyped. I was in the 6th grade at the time, and I was like, I wonder if Cheryl Miller gonna play.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's funny you bring her up. They talked about her too.
Huh?
They talked about her too. Oh man, they were going back talking about
I remember when Reggie Miller was telling the story about how he had scored like 40 points in the game, and he came home with hype, and they were like, Cheryl Miller had scored 100.
Yeah, like, be quiet, little bro. It's okay.
Right. Now you sit down.
Sit down, right.
But I'm saying, back then they put a lot of money into the league because they really wanted to make it big.
They did.
And then you started to see, like, teams fold.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't even think the Houston Comets are a thing anymore.
I don't believe so.
The Detroit Shock are gone.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of teams who had to fold, and I really believe that they wanted to make the league bigger than what it is now.
Yeah.
But they haven't been able to garner that wholesale interest.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. We live in this society.
Yeah.
It is the trash that it is sometimes.
Well, one thing I can say, though, is that, and I won't say it's all the NBA players, but there are a lot of NBA players who do a good job of trying to push the league. Like Kobe Bryant, for instance. You'll see Kobe Bryant at a WNBA game. You'll see LeBron at a WNBA game. You'll see KD. Yeah. You know, and so I do appreciate that, and I think more of the NBA players and coaches, and because if you all a family, like, when they do well, you do well. You know, I don't know if y'all watch Martin, but if I blow up, boom, you blow up.
Oh my God, we all.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, right. Martin is my favorite. I'm sorry.
Anytime a Martin rerun comes.
Oh my God, I love it.
I'm watching it.
Yep.
All right, but we just spent a lot of time on this.
We did. I'm sorry, but either way, y'all let us know who's really right.
Honestly,
clearly.
And listen to our argument. I really don't feel like our argument is that much different.
No, because we still talking about equity.
Yeah, I think we settled on equity.
Equity,
you know?
yeah, because it's not possible to be equal.
Yeah,
it's not possible to be equal,
right.
Except for in certain situations where I think it should be more. For like we talking about the women's
soccer team.
If we basing it on the factors that we're talking about, yes, then yeah. If we talking about just effort and sheer preparation and all of that, then yeah, everybody need to get paid the same.
Right.
Because they all doing the same hard work to be there. I don't care how long it lasts. I don't care how many people in the stands. But that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
Based on the factors that we talked about.
I'm going to throw this nugget in here because I just found it. So, I'm going to concede who's really right.
Okay.
Right now. Just based off of what I just read.
Oh, what did you read?
NBA players receive a little more than 50% of revenue. WNBA players receive less than 25%. I knew that 25% number was sticking in my head for some reason.
So
like,
that's where the equal. That's
yeah.
where it needs to be the same.
Right.
It needs to be equal in that respect.
Definitely.
So we talking, that's where the equality comes in. Absolutely.
WNBA.
Yeah,
y'all being trash right now.
Yeah, that's real bad.
Get yourselves together.
Yeah, that's almost slave wages.
Yeah.
In comparison,
25%.
That's less than 25%, and they getting over 50. That's crazy. Yeah, they need to fix that. Even if they just fix that part, you could probably see a lot of difference in a lot of these girls won't have to go play all year in different places. Yeah. So wow.
Put the cameras on me. 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 Put the cameras on me.